Okay. Come on. Aye. There we go. Okay. Okay, good to see you all. I'm Dr. Matthew Dunn, as you can maybe see up here on the syllabus. And that's what we're going to basically talk about today. We're going to go over the requirements for the course so that you know what is expected, and decide whether you want to stick with it or not, whether you need to do add drop or maybe hopefully not withdraw, but just decide what you're going to do. Yeah, so this is Christian Faith, so make sure you're in the right class, Christian Faith. For spring 2025, you apparently know the time. It starts at 11 a.m., okay, and ends at 12:15, and you know the room number apparently, and now you know who I am. I'm an adjunct instructor, so I don't really have an office or a phone line, so the best ways to get in touch with me is to make an appointment with me, send me an email, and we can meet somewhere on campus or something like that. But basically email. So I give you, there's my, God bless you, my gmercy email. All right. And that's how you should contact me. I noticed, I think it's in this class, there might be a couple people who they have listed as a Gmail account listed as their contact, at least on the registration page in the portal. I will not be using that. I'm not going to contact you through Gmail. It will always be through the university. Okay. Because that's our relationship. You know, if we were besties, then, you know, I might do it through Gmail, but we're not. I mean, we might be, but, you know, you got to keep that relationship the way, you know, clear, okay? So I will contact you through email. So if you need to see me at all, just contact me through email and we can meet somewhere on campus. All right, what is the course about? Well, Christian faith. What does that mean? Come on. Here we go. There's the course description from the course catalog, the updated course catalog. The course examines the features of religious faith that are common to Protestant and Catholic Christianity. What about the Eastern Orthodox? Any Eastern Orthodox in the class that you want to self-identify? No? Anybody? No? Other than me, you know. You know. Basic Christian beliefs, yes. Characteristics of adult faith development. Don't know what they mean by that one. I mean, I know what they mean, but I don't know why it's part of a Christian faith course. Commitment to one's Christian faith in a contemporary world. Good luck with that one. Yeah, anyway. Are treated in an ecumenically sensitive way. And if you haven't met this word ecumenical, well, you'll know what it means later in the course when we talk about ecumenical councils. It means universal, but basically it's a specific term referring to the relationship amongst all of the Christian groups, all the Christian denominations. Okay, so that's something ecumenical, as opposed to, say, interreligious. If I as a Christian were in dialogue with, say, someone who is a Muslim or a Hindu, that would be interreligious. It's between religions. But if I'm dialoguing with someone who is, say, a Baptist or Eastern Orthodox, you know, Russian Orthodox or something, not Catholic, then that's ecumenical because we share the same baptism in Christ and believes, hopefully, some of the same beliefs in Christ. Okay? But as this is, and I did not write this, someone wrote this for the catalog and it's been in there, and, you know, who knows if they ever even taught a course like this or if they have a degree in this area. They just have to write the descriptions, and that's fine. And that's basically what I will do, but I'm also, as the professor, given some leeway to tweak it, and I will focus, since this is a Catholic university, Catholic and Mercy University, I will focus primarily on the Roman Catholic perspective, but I will try to integrate the Protestant Christian perspective, and as well as other ancient churches, like, as I mentioned, the Eastern Orthodox churches and the Oriental Orthodox, and so as best as I can. It's probably, you know, you can't really, I mean, if we brought it down to said what's common to Protestant and Catholic Christianity, sometimes there isn't a lot that's common. Okay, so I have to tell you both, which is fine. But if I just told you what was common, then we'd have like half a course instead of a whole course, because I'd just be telling you all the things that we basically agree on, and but there's a lot that we don't agree on. That's why there are differences. That's why there are different Christian groups. So I'll talk about them in the context of, well, I'm giving you also the Catholic Church's ideas or opinions or whatever, however you want to look at it. Alrighty, let's turn the page, Dr. Ben. What do you need for the course? Well, if you've gone on Canvas or you've gone on the bookstore, which, has anyone been able to get the textbooks yet from the bookstore? You have? Okay. Hopefully you've looked at the bookstore. They are there. I did check. I don't know if they're still in stock, but hopefully they are. If you can't use the bookstore, obviously, you have Amazon and Alibris and other websites where you can find the books on there. Just search. That's why I give you the ISBN number. You can search for the ISBN number and you'll find it, and buy it off of there. But these are there are basically two textbooks. There are two textbooks for the course. Very simple, and what you might expect. Obviously, a Bible, if we're talking about the Christian faith. But I did say I was going to focus on Catholicism, so maybe I shouldn't have a Bible. I'm just saying, because Catholics don't generally know what this is. You show it to them, and it's like, hey, is that a Book of Mormon? Oh, wait a second. No, it says a Bible on it. What's that? Anyway, so our good old Bible, all right, New American Version, Revised Edition. Yes, if you have a Bible at home and another kind of Bible, that's fine. It's just it's a Catholic Bible, so there will be extra books and different versions of some books in the Old Testament, and I have you read from some of them, so you won't be able to read them if you have like a Protestant version of the Bible, which does not have those books or those versions of the books. So yeah, you can, if you have a King James Bible or a New International Version or something like that, and you just don't want to buy a whole new Bible, because unless you're curious what a Catholic Bible looks like and what might be inside it, then be my guest. And you can maybe use the internet to find those extra books that I might have you read, the Book of Wisdom or Tobit or something like that. But yeah, you should have a Bible, because there are going to be a lot of Bible readings, which you should know if you've already looked at the syllabus, and the Catechism of the Catholic Church. This is the second edition, but they're not calling it a third edition, but there is the second edition with the change to one of the paragraphs by His Holiness Pope Francis, who's the current Pope. So that's the one you should have. Honestly, I didn't rush out and buy a new one because it was just one paragraph. So, basically all I did is, I just, copied it off. Yeah, here it is. And just, why reinvent the wheel, And I might want to look at what the previous text was that was changed, So I have this, just taped in here for a paragraph, 2267 on the death penalty. Okay, so they made a little change to that, but the rest of it's the same, basically. So anyways, again, get this, because there are going to be a lot of readings from this as well. It's a catechism. It's basically, a catechism is an instructional guide, usually in a religious faith. So you could have an Islamic catechism, which catechizes you or teaches you about the beliefs of Islam, or a Hindu catechism. It's usually something that, in a short form, almost like a bullet point form, if you want, goes through the belief system and the essential beliefs of something. Okay, usually a religion, but not always. Okay. For the readings, and I'll do this now since I have them available, they're just like any other book. So if you're like not a religious person or something, that's fine. God bless you, you're welcome. But you might be a little afraid, like, I've never encountered this before, I've never read the Bible or whatever. But that's okay. It's just like any other book. Just like any other book, if you want to find where something is, where do you look? Yeah, table of contents. And right here, beginning of the Bible, most Bibles, you're going to have a table of contents with all the books laid out. Oftentimes they'll have them laid out in order, but they'll also give them alphabetically, and they'll give you the page number. And so you turn to the page number, And finding something in a book is really relatively easy. You get the chapter and the verse. So if I say in the syllabus, read from the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 2. Okay, you find the Gospel of Matthew, the beginning of the Gospel of Matthew. Okay, you look at chapter 1. Okay, you don't want that. Turn the page. Oh, there's chapter 2. It's all enumerated in order. Okay, and I say, then you'll notice for each sentence, more or less, there's a smaller number. Okay, so it's broken down into smaller bits. So if I say read chapter 2, verses 6 to 11, okay, then you find a little small 6. You count down, you find a little small 6, and you read the verses on the text until the small 11. All right, easy, I think. Okay, I hope. Right, if you don't understand it, you can ask me again or later or whatever. But that's basically how you find it. All right, find the book, you find the chapter in the book, find the verse, and they're all enumerated, so there shouldn't be any problem. There are other things in the Bible that you'll notice, like little letters that are next to some of the verses, and little, like an asterisk or something. Those are usually referring to notes at the bottom of the page, or if it's a little letter, italicized letter, it's referring to a cross-reference to some other Bible verse or something. You don't necessarily have to worry about those, but that's the basic way to find something. Okay. The catechism is also quite easy, so you don't need to really worry about it. And this is important, because when it says, like in the syllabus, I want you to read from the catechism, say, 100 to 180. All right? I am not referring to the page numbers. There are page numbers, okay? But I'm referring to the paragraph numbers. Each paragraph, basically, or section of text has a number from the beginning. So beginning with 1 and going all the way to 2000 and something or other. Where are we here? 2,865. Okay? So they're all marked. They're all marked with the number. So if I say 100 to 1 paragraphs, 100 to 180, you should only be reading those 80 numbered paragraphs. Which, it's like, oh, it's 80, but it's a lot shorter than reading 80 pages. Okay, I'm not asking you to read pages 100 to 180. I'm asking you to read the paragraphs. Some are long, most are pretty short. They're not that long. And so you read those in the catechism. Right? So that's a simple way to do that. All right, I'm done with that. So those are the books that you need for the course. I gotta have my coffee. Mr. Cooper? All right, Mr. Cooper, right? Mr. Root. Cooper. Okay, now I'm gonna remember that because Cooper. Sorry about that. It's like Mackenzie Donnelly. I'm sorry, my mind reverses it. I'll work on it, sir. But okay, yes. All right, a little bit of coffee here. Well, mostly gone. Yeah. All right. No, it's just coffee. Well, I could mean sugar, It could, No, it's coffee. It's not. No sugar because I'm trying to lose weight. All right. So the grade scale for the course. Okay. And I'm taking this partially from what I was given when I first started working here. I got a course syllabus from the Arts and Sciences Department, which was a little bit different than this, but then there's another version in the catalog. I wish they would kind of systematize, but whatever. So this is the way it is, okay? Right. Hopefully pretty standard, or at least it's obvious how it is. And yes, all grades in the course, you'll find them on Canvas under the grades tab. All right, so you can track your grades throughout the course. And, there's no grade curve for the course. You get the grade that you get. Okay, I'm not going to go through and curve, and you wouldn't want me to because I'm terrible at math, and that's just opening the door for me to make mistakes, which is not a good thing. So you get the grade that you're going to get in the course, and the grades are final. Unless I made some mistake in computing your grade's going to be final. Don't expect to receive any extra credits or anything like that. You have what you're supposed to do for the course, so just do it. Okay, do the things that are required. Hopefully not too many things. We'll get to that in a moment. And it's up to you to get the good grades. All right, it's not up to me. We talked about that in a moment. What is required for the course? What am I going to ask of you? You can see here in the syllabus, I spell it out for you. There are basically 3 grading elements. Okay. I don't want to do too much. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, but I have to do something. All right. So this is what I'm going to give you to do. There is a final exam, which is cumulative. Okay, so pay attention. It is cumulative. However, throughout the course, you're going to get 5 quizzes. All right, and you know a lot of, probably most of, or all of the questions that you encounter on the quizzes are going to come back on the final exam. I mean, there's no reason for me to reinvent the wheel. So you want to pay attention to the quizzes. But throughout the course, there will be 5 quizzes. This final exam, there are 5 quizzes, and there's 1 paper to write. And after that, there's class participation. So basically, 3 grading elements. 1 is tests of 2 kinds, just 1 assignment, 1 writing assignment, and class participation. And I'll go through each of these in a moment. You can see the percentages. Certainly the final exam is weighted heavily, so it's a significant portion of the grade. But you might also notice that the quizzes are, and the paper is. Okay, so those are the percentages of how it's going to break down in grading you, of how each one is going to be weighted. And you need to do each one, or at least one of each one. And in the case of the final exam, obviously, if there's just one thing, then you need to do it. In the case of the quizzes, I mean, if you want to blow off 4 of the quizzes and just do 1 of them and take your chances, okay, I guess fine. But my policy is that you have to do at least 1 of the grading elements. I don't want people to, because I understand people can kind of use a certain calculus to figure out, well, what's the least I can do? If I just want to get a C in the course and that's all I care about, what's the least I can do? And I don't want people to do that. Or if you do that, you're at least going to have to do 1 thing in each grading element. As I said, in the case of where there is only 1 thing, then you just have to do that 1 thing. But in the case of the quizzes, you might have to make a decision like, how many of the quizzes do you want to do? I would recommend doing all of them. But, some people just, for some reason, decide I'm okay with a D or a C. As long as I pass. All right, fine. At least you do 1 of them or 2 of them. So be aware of that, because if you don't do 1 of the grading elements, you automatically fail the course because you haven't completed the course requirements. Class participation is different, and I deal with that later. But like if you decide like, okay, I'll just do all the tests, but I won't do the paper. All right, fine. But you haven't done 1 of the grading elements, and you'll fail the course. It's required. And I will probably send you an email and pester you and put out an alert on you if that's a problem. Hoping that you'll get it done. But, just so you know about that. If you, what do I want to say here? I said that. Okay. A lot of things I say in the syllabus, I feel like I have to say because it is kind of like a contract between us. And if there are ever any issues, then certainly the university would treat it as a contract. So I try to be as explicit and clear and try to cover every eventuality. That's why it's so long. So I'm sorry if it's so long, but that's just, when I started out in 2006, my first syllabus that I still have on my computer was like 2 pages or something like that. Very sketchy, It gave you the bare bones. You just can't do that anymore because people want to know. They want to know what they're required to do. And it doesn't mean you have to read a lot, but, you just have to do it if you want to know what's going to go on in the course. And if there are ever any issues, like questions, like if you got a deduction or something, or on a quiz or something like that you weren't expecting, and you didn't read the syllabus, it could be quite a shock and a surprise. And I don't want you to be shocked or surprised. So I have no control about what happens to you in this semester. Okay, this is this part here. Hopefully nothing bad will happen, but, a death in the family or a big sickness or something like that. I hope not. But, these things do happen. But I have no control over them. I'm not trying to sound like I'm uncaring, but I just have to, cover myself and say, look, you're in the course, you have to do the work. I can't do the work, and I'm not going to do the work for you. All right? And if I'm not going to give you good grades, if you're not getting good grades, that's where extra credits come in, because Extra credits, I do give them sometimes, and I try to give them to help people out, but I have to give them to everybody. And so it helps people out. It doesn't give a good register of how you're doing in the course if I give out extra credits, because it can inflate the grade. It also doesn't let people see how you're possibly doing over all of your courses. And sometimes people just don't deserve them. People have just not done the work in the course. Some people do deserve an extra credit to help them out, but other people just haven't done the work and then they benefit. And I'm not sure that that's fair just to other students. So don't expect extra credit assignments, especially if you're doing badly in the course. My response is going to probably be, well, we've got another quiz coming up, try to do better on the quiz. Or we've got a paper assignment coming up, try to do well on the paper. You've got the assignments that are going to give you the points to do well in the course. And if you do have a life issue, there are family issues going on or something like that, I sympathize, but I have no control over those things. Okay, basically you have to take care of them yourself and find a way. If you can't, I'll work with you. I'll try to work with you. But in some situations, it might simply be that you just, have to take the course again, just withdraw. You don't want to get an F in the course or a really bad grade. You might just have to take it again and wait until your circumstances are better. That just happens sometimes. Hopefully not during this semester, though. Okay. Where the tests are. I have a description of what the tests are in the syllabus. I'm not going to go over that in detail. I mean, it's an online test. All the tests are on Canvas, so you don't have to come to class. They're on Canvas. I will put the test up on a Friday evening, the quizzes, and you will have basically a week to take it. Okay, you have a week to take it. So don't waste your time. People always do, and they wait until the last minute. Seems to be most people. All right, God, so maybe I'm just blowing in the wind, But I would say don't, try to take them early, because you don't know what could happen during the week. Something could happen to you during the week, and it's like you can't get to the quiz, and then the quiz is gone, And I won't let you take it over, I only have a certain period of time of leeway in which you can take the quiz, because eventually the answers have to be released to people so they know what the answers were and they can compare it to their answers and see what they got wrong. That's just fair. So at a certain point, I have to release the answers, and once those are out, you ain't taking the quiz because the answers are out there. So you don't know what could happen during the week. You might think you have the whole week to do something, and I give you that week. But just be prudent, about your situation, what could happen. You don't know. But they're all online. And I give you a description of what you can expect on the quizzes. I even tell you what types of questions you should expect, are most likely to expect. A lot of multiple choice and matching and stuff like that. I don't do essays and stuff, because I have to read them. But well, anyways, but I tell you, you can read the syllabus for more detail on what that is. Okay, make sure that you take the tests on your laptop or a PC, something that is reliable. Yeah, I know you can probably take them on Safari on your iPhone or something on that, but your iPhone or your Android might not play well with the website, with Canvas. And you could have glitches or have problems happen where, you lose your signal or whatever, and then the quiz just closes and submits your quiz automatically. And now I get an email saying, oh, Dr. Dunn, I've got like an F on the quiz. I got a low grade because, I was taking it on my phone and I lost my signal. Lesson learned. That's basically going to be my response. You live and learn. Don't do that. Make sure that you take it on something that's reliable, okay? So you don't have those problems. You also don't want to have problems like if I get an email from somebody who says, oh, Dr. Dunn, I was taking the quiz and I made a mistake and closed the tab by accident, and of course, which automatically will submit your quiz with whatever grade you had at the time. Okay, that's fine. There might be certain situations where there is a problem outside your control. You make a mistake or the power goes out or something. And that's stated in the syllabus what I'll do. I mean, there will be deductions from your grade because you've already seen parts of the quiz, even if it's just one question, you've had access to it, okay? So I will deduct, but I will also, if there are certain extenuating circumstances, could give you more time if there's a real problem. Now, my question to you might be, well, why are you clicking on tabs in the first place? And I had to think about that. It finally occurred to me one time when I'm like, why would the student even be clicking on anywhere near? Why would the cursor be anywhere near the tab at the top of the page? And I thought to myself, oh yeah, they have other tabs open. And they wanted to close, I guess, one of the other tabs, and they inadvertently clicked on, as can happen, clicked on the Canvas tab, which closed Canvas and, of course, submitted the quiz. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be a suspicious person, but I was wondering why other tabs were open while they're taking the quiz, and why are they even worrying about other tabs? Could they be looking for answers? Doing a little Google search? I don't know. Possible. I don't want to be that kind of suspicious person, but, Jesus said you have to be as wise as a serpent and as simple as a dove. And I know how technology works. I may look like an old guy, and I am bald, okay? So that qualifies me as an old dude, but I've grown up with computers, and I kind of know what people can do on them. So just be aware of that. I might have some questions if it's a matter of, oh, yeah, the browser just closed, and so, okay, fine. I give you the dates of all the quizzes in the syllabus, so there should be no question about when they're going to be. Okay, so you can look at the dates in the syllabus, okay, for the quizzes and also for the final exam. Now, for the final exam, it's also online, and it's all through exam week. All right, that's basically, we're meeting online in the last week, okay? That's our class meeting. So don't come to class during exam week. If you want to. It'll probably be empty. If you want a nice quiet place, fine. But you don't have to come to class. It's online. God bless you, sir. I'm right there with you. It's online, and you have the whole week to do it. And an extent. That's all right. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to say about that. And, I already said it will be cumulative. So just so you know, it's cumulative. So there's no midterm, it's all the final. So pay attention, take notes. The assignments are one paper, one writing assignment. I've already put that up on Canvas. Did anyone take a look at it? Were you able to see it? Anybody? Anyone look at Canvas? Maybe? No? You did, sir? Did you see it there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And you can see what the assignment is? Okay, so you can start on it as soon as you want. It's basically, one of the readings is the Gospel of Mark, which is believed to be the first written account about Jesus. We'll learn all about that much later in the course. It's not, you have to read it, I hope. It's not too long. It's the shortest of the Gospels. But so, it's not like I'm giving you something terribly long. But I'd start reading it now, even before it's required, okay? Because then you'll know basically the basic plot of the story of Jesus, which, the Christian faith, it's all about him, basically. And you'll also be prepared to start writing the paper. The paper is due in March. The date is here in the syllabus. You'll upload the paper to Canvas. Again, it's submitted on Canvas. Let me just skip through all of this. You can read this on your own time. I hope you do. So there are no surprises. Oh, wait, I should say that. Excuse me. Before I forget. In case you're wondering, how long you have on these tests and stuff like that. For the quizzes, I give an hour and a half to do the quiz. There'll be no more than 50 questions. So 50 questions in an hour and a half. On the final exam, it's 120 questions, and you get 3.5 hours to complete it, okay? So once you start it, you have that period of time. You can't close it again and then come back to it. You have to finish it. It's like you're sitting for the test. So that's there. So I just want to mention that.
in case someone didn't happen to read the syllabus and was curious about how long these things are going to be. Now here's the paper. The paper is uploaded to Canvas in a Word file, document file, not PDF, not RTF, not something else. Again, sir, I'm right there with you. That's right, and this. But in a document file, okay? And in fact, Canvas will be programmed to only receive it as a document file. So if you get an error message, then that's why. All right, I want a document file. It's just easier for me to work with, okay? Check the word count and stuff like that if I want to check the word count. And I've already kind of breached one of the details or given you one of the details of it. I don't ask for a page count. I'm not going to say it has to be 10 pages long or 5 pages long. I go for a word count, 800 words, which is roughly 2 pages if you're figuring it out. Okay, so a minimum of 2 pages you could guess is around 800 words. A minimum of 800, a minimum. So if you don't give me 800, if you give me 799, you're going to get a deduction because I'm asking for a minimum of 800. Okay, if you couldn't give me even 800, then that's a problem. If you give me more than 800, which you're great, you can do it, and I'll give you additional points for that. And that's all spelled out in the rubric that you can find on Canvas. Okay, and I also give you spell out for you how I want it to look. I'm not too concerned about formatting. People, worry about, margin size and font size and stuff like that. This is not a writing intensive course, so just be consistent. If you're going to use 1-inch font, a 1-inch margin, then just be consistent and use it throughout your paper. If you're going to use 12-point font or Times New Roman or Arial or whatever, just be consistent. It shouldn't be like Arial font and then all of a sudden it's Wingdings or something. All right, just be consistent is my main thing. Be consistent. I'm not establishing any format. And the same thing for sources, okay? You will have to use sources. I'm going to require that. I have a bunch of scriptural commentaries and books that are on the reserve shelf in Keith's library, so you should use them. I expect you to use them. They're there for you. They cannot be checked out, so you don't have to worry about going to the library and it already being checked out and then you have to wait 2 weeks or whatever. No, they're on the reserve shelf, so you check them out, you return it, so there should be something there that you can use. They're all related to the Gospel of Mark, okay, so, in one way or another. And I want you to use 2 of them, 2 different ones, and use them. Show me that you've used them. Use the material in them. If you want to quote from it to support some argument that you have or idea, or you want to summarize something, fine. Make sure that you cite your source where you got it from in the book that you use, okay? But use at least 2. So you could, if you want to use 3 or 4, that's fine, but at least 2. I want you to use our wonderful library and also be aware of scholarly works and not just look for something on the internet. Although you can find a lot of stuff on the internet. That's fine. But I prefer that you go and use the books on the reserve shelf. I already mentioned that. How you should write the paper. I just give you an example of putting your name, the course name, and the paper number on it. You only have one paper, so paper number 1. I have it right here in the syllabus, so if you don't follow this, you're going to get points off, even if you don't follow it in a little way. You might think it's ticky-tack or whatever, but I'm giving it to you right there. All you have to do is copy and paste it and change the information. I'm giving it to you, doing it for you, basically. So if you don't do it, then you'll probably lose some points. But that just helps me know who it is and just what course it is, so I know where my mind's at. Okay, so we talked about the final exam, first grading element. We talked about the quizzes, second grading element. We talked about the paper, third grading element. Now the last, which is class participation, which dovetails into class attendance, because obviously if you're not attending, then you're not participating, because you're not here, at least physically here, okay? Your aura could be here, I don't know. I am a supernaturalist, who knows? But you're not physically here. So I give you guidelines on that. All right, you can read those. I think I don't have to explain what being absent means if you're not physically present in the class, or if you're late after I start teaching the class. The general rule of thumb is I'll mark you late if you come in after I've already started teaching the class. And this, absences and lates will affect your class participation grade. No absence, and I have to say this clearly, no absence or late or leaving early from the class as well, because sometimes, a person can get up 15 minutes before the class and just check out. Okay, that's fine. That's not when the class is over with. But no absence or lateness or leaving early is excused. Okay? So, yeah, if you get sick or something and you send me an email and, okay, fine, I probably will not account it. I'll take it into account at the end of the term and stuff like that if those are kinds of extenuating circumstances. But still, when I go into Canvas and do your attendance, it's going to say absence not excused. All right? And I don't want, just so you're not confused and you're like, but I thought, you said, okay, you understood I was sick. Yeah, I do. And I'll make a note of it, okay? And if you should send me an email so I have that, so I remember. But my policy is nothing's excused unless it has to be, which we'll talk about in a moment. Because I don't want people to think that, if as long as I send Dr. Dunn an email or something and whatever, then he has to excuse me. No. I will probably, so I just want to make that clear. I will take it into account, and I will probably at the end of the term not count it, but I don't want to say that in the syllabus because it can just open a whole can of worms. I want to make it just crystal clear so people know, all right, there's no question, like if you do send me an email that you're sick, okay, that's fine, but you still should have been in class. Okay, the requirement is to be in class. But if you send me an email and I know about it, as I also tell you in the syllabus, I will take that into account. Okay. To further help this along, I guess, is that for 4 class meetings, I will not at all, even though no absence is excused, for 4 class meetings, if you're not here, if you're absent, then I won't even look at it. I won't worry about it. Okay, so just so you know. Wink, wink. So, because I know stuff happens. I know it's life, Car breaks down, or you get into an accident, hopefully not. People get sick, and they just cannot be here, just no matter what the policy is. And you're a human being. It's important that you're healthy and you're happy. That's more important than following the rules necessarily of a syllabus. So even though I have to say certain things in the syllabus, okay, I want to now qualify them so mercy triumphs over judgment in a manner of speaking. So for 4 class meetings, like if something happens, I just won't count it, okay? The absence is not excused technically, but I won't deduct any points or it won't affect I won't use it against your class participation grade at all right? Beyond that, then yes. Okay, if you have 5 absences, 6 absences, anything beyond those 4, yeah, there will be consequences to your final grade and to your class participation grade. If you miss 7 class meetings, which is roughly a month of the course, then you just fail automatically because you've missed like a month of the course. And I'm not going to pass anyone who has missed that much of the course. Okay, that's just too much. And that's for any reason. That's including whether, the 4 absences, that's including whether you have a sickness or an illness. It's just, if you can't complete the expectations of the course to that degree, then I'm not going to pass someone with that amount of absences who hasn't been here. Again, there are always extenuating circumstances. Someone could be diagnosed with cancer and need cancer treatments or something like that. All sorts of other things could happen. I'll work with you, all right? But my policy is that, I have to be fair to the people who attended the course and were here. And if you miss just that much, it's too much it's a third of the course. It's a large chunk of the course. Also, if you are late for 7 class meetings, which can happen, most people aren't late, but there are sometimes a student is consistently late, a lot, then that'll also result in certain deductions from your final grade and your class grade. Also, if you leave early, like if someone is always leaving like 15 minutes, 20 minutes early and not coming back, then that could also affect your grade. So just so you know these things going in, all right? There are cases where an absence must be excused, and there are only 4 cases that are exceptions to the policy where I have to, someone's absence must be recognized and must be excused, and those are spelled out in the policies of the university. So if you have a disability or a medical accommodation, obviously that supersedes my syllabus, that trumps my syllabus, okay? And so, whatever's going on with that, I will certainly excuse an absence and make the accommodation that I need to make to that person. Even if you don't have an accommodation now, because some of you are in sports, let's say you're playing your sport, you're playing field hockey, you're playing lacrosse, and you get a concussion, okay, which can be long lasting. No, it's it's not a chronic thing. You haven't had it for a long time. You got it playing your sport, yes? And it might require you to miss a whole bunch of classes. You just can't sit in this classroom with me yakking at you with your head hurting. You need to heal. And those cases, because I had this situation, and then, like, what's this covered under? What do I do? We'll certainly work with the student. I worked with the student who couldn't be here for several classes. But what you can do is you can go to the Office of Disability Services, show them your doctor's notes or whatever, saying this is what I have a concussion, and they can give you what's called a temporary accommodation, and they'll inform all your teachers, so you don't have to worry, do I have to go now to all my teachers and explain to each one what's going on? No, the disability office will inform all your teachers that so-and-so, for example, received a concussion playing lacrosse and might not be in class over the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever. So we all know. It's like, okay, fine. Not a problem. Not that it would necessarily be a problem anyways, but, you want to have sometimes that paperwork. You want to have that backup, so you can show your professors, look, I had this issue and this is whatever, rather than just doing it verbally or through an email or something, all right? If you're in the military as well, 1 second. Oh, I didn't print that out. These are all described in more detail in the syllabus. Accommodation, if you're in the military and the armed forces and you're obviously deployed somewhere, I guess I could, try to get Uncle Sam to say, sorry, Uncle Sam, he's taking Christian faith, or she's taking Christian faith. No, that's excused. If you're a student athlete and you have to travel to your games and stuff like that, obviously that's excused. If you have a major religious holiday, which, there are religious holidays throughout the year that you have to attend, because you're observant or something, that's fine. That's excusable. But okay, so be aware of the attendance policy and use your absences, wink, wink. Use your absences well, because you don't know when you're going to get sick. You don't know when you're going to need a day off, okay? So just use them well. Don't gobble them all up and then find uh-oh, I've already been absent 4 times for other reasons and now I've got the flu, Use it for serious cases, please. That's the exceptions. Yes, okay, talked about that. Class participation, okay, you're here, so you're already in some way participating. How do I grade you on that? I tell you in the syllabus how I'm going to grade you on it, and I kind of give you a scheme that I'm using for how to grade you on it. Basically, if you just want to sit here for the semester, that's fine. That's your prerogative. You're an adult. I'm not going to harass you. I might ask you questions. I ask people questions. Those who've had me before know I'll just shout out and say, Mr. So-and-so, Ms. So-and-so, what do you think about this? Okay. If you don't want to answer, that's fine. If you want to do readings from the PowerPoints, great. Helps me out. Saves my voice a bit. If you just want to ask questions because you're curious. That never happened. Where do you think you are? You're in like the religion class, the general ed religion class. You're not supposed to be curious. Huh. What's wrong with you people? Read your catechism. Repeat your catechism. It's your A. Anyway, yeah, so that's part of class participation. I'll be grading you on it. If you just, usually, again, I try to be generous at the end of the term. I usually start in the C range. I'm not like, I'm not trying to fail people. I don't get my jollies from failing people. No. I want you to do well in the course. So, I start like in the C range. Okay, fine. So this is what's in the syllabus, but, I do tweak it at the end. But nevertheless, if you just want to sit here, okay, fine, then you shouldn't expect to get a rather high class participation grade. If you're sitting here asking questions, you're taking notes, you bring the books with you, you have the books, and notice it says this in the syllabus, that the books should be brought. I'm bringing them, because, I'm supposed to, because you're supposed to. So, I got to be a good example for you. Whether I've read them or not is another question. No, I've read them. Don't worry, sir. I've read them. But, just so you get an idea. Okay, so if you're really, concerned, you want to get a good grade in class participation, these are the things that you can do. And so I outline those things for you in the syllabus. So again, you're not surprised. And I also, if you are absent, if you leave early, if you're late to class, those affect your class participation grade just because of the fact you're not here. And I also outline, what I'll do if you'll lose some points, or how my mind is working and grading you, okay, to make it more specific, when I'm doing it at the end of the semester, so okay, so if you have a question like, well, why did I get a lower, I thought I was going to get an 89, but I got an 86. Okay, well, remember you were late X amount of times or something like that, or you were absent X amount of times, so that affected the grade. Okay, you might not like that response, but at least you'll know. Okay, and that's better than not knowing, I guess. Now, then there's actively ignoring. Yes, some of you have computers, that's fine. Computers are allowed in the classroom. I've gone back and forth on this, and there's sometimes I've said, no, you just use notebooks and no computers and whatever. But now I'm basically like, you're adults, so I expect you to use your computers as they're supposed to be used. You know where you are. This is basically your job as a student, so you should not be using your computer to, be on the casino or, watching YouTube. People play tennis with their cats or something like that, I'm expecting that you're taking notes or you're looking at the readings that maybe you have on your computer. I'm expecting that. I'm not going to go around police the whole classroom because I don't consider that part of my job. And again, you're adults, you know what the expectation is. But if I catch you, I might say something, I might not say something. I'm saying it in the syllabus, I'm saying it right here. This is your one and only warning. I might notice that, okay, I saw so-and-so once looking at stuff, not paying attention to what's going on. Okay, maybe I'll let that go. Maybe it happens another time. All right, fine, And it's like a third time, she's back on that, All right. So she's ignoring me, or he's ignoring me, or someone falls asleep in class, which is pretty obvious ignoring. I might be gentle the first time. I'll sing you a little lullaby or something. But it happens, sir. It happens. I've had people fall asleep. Okay, that's okay. I understand. But it happens a lot. Then there might be consequences, okay? Active ignoring is serious, If you're on your phone and I see you're texting, the thumb's going a mile a minute. Okay, obviously not paying attention to me or to the class. And if I see it more than once, I might say something, I might not. Okay, I'm warning you now, and it's warned in the syllabus. If you are actively ignored, that's going to seriously affect your class participation grade. Like drop it like a letter already. So just so you know, just Be aware. And I understand if people do need to use their phones, if, some people have business interviews, you're going out on interviews already, because you're getting close to graduating and stuff, or you have family matter that's going on and you need to be connected. Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. If you could just tell me, just say, this is what's going on. I might have to get up and take a phone call during class and go outside. Okay, that's fine. I'm not a monster. I mean, all right. That's fine. Just let me know. That's okay. I understand. But if I notice that, someone's thumbs are going a mile a minute and and it happens a lot, then I might say something or I might not. I might just, say write down active ignoring and remember that at the end of the course. Okay. What's the schedule? All right. Well, schedule is here. We've already begun this. This is our first class, introduction, and we're talking about the syllabus. Chess, I know, is boring, but it's one of those things that has to be done. And then on Thursday, we will start with the foundation of Christian faith, which is Jesus of Nazareth, of course. It's Christianity, Jesus Christ, okay? So in preparation for that, I would recommend that you start reading those paragraphs in the Catechism, paragraphs 50 to 73. You notice the week after that, NA, so there's no reading for that, so you have off. Or you can read ahead. You'll notice that there are some Bible readings, Book of Job, the Book of Wisdom, the Wisdom of Solomon, which is in Catholic Bibles, but might not be in your Protestant Bible, and some other things. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole schedule, but it gives you an idea. We're going to talk about Jesus, of course, first, then we're going to talk about what are our sources of authority for talking about Jesus. What do we use to talk about Jesus? Then I'll talk about Jesus and his ministry. This is where reading the Gospel of Mark will be really helpful. And also, what did I say? The Gospel of Matthew too? 2 Gospels? I must have been angry that day when I was working on the syllabus. Well, no, but the Gospel of Matthew is important because he adds a lot of stuff to the Gospel of Mark. He's copying the Gospel of Mark and he adds a whole bunch of stuff. So that's important to read. But anyways, and then the question of who was Jesus? We'll talk about the Bible and what the Bible is, the church, God. Eventually we'll get to God. But even before we get to God, we have to get to Jesus first, because Jesus transforms the Jewish idea of God. Okay, so you might say, well, logically, shouldn't we begin with God? Christians believe in God. Yes, we do. But Jesus completely upends what the Jews believed about God. And then we'll talk about the saints, and then hopefully, God willing, complete it with the sacraments and whatever else I can throw in there. That seems to be about enough. I know I talk too much, but sorry about that, but hopefully some of it's interesting. Okay. I guess I wanted to mention this. It's not a huge thing. Obviously, if class is canceled, don't come to class. Where are we here? That's about plagiarism. You can read the sections about cheating and plagiarism in the syllabus. I'm not going to go over them here. I think I've already hit you over the head with the axes. Sorry about that. So look at what plagiarism and cheating is, and what the consequences will be. Basically, it's very simple, really. I mean, just to say very short. If you use someone else's work, just give them credit. If the idea didn't come to you naturally, all right. If you got it from one of the books that you're going to use, just give the person credit. It's that simple. There's a debate, but also a whole problem and issue in the whole rap and hip hop history, because there's such a long history in rap and hip hop of sampling other people's work. You have like someone else's track going on in the background and you're rapping or singing or doing whatever over it. Yeah. The problem is that, which was fine when you're just handing out demos at your club night, you want people to get your music and stuff. You're a nobody, nobody cares. But then you become famous and someone else is like, wait a second, he used my music. call the lawyers. And you get a copyright violation. I want some of the profits from your CD that went platinum, because you sampled my music on one song and didn't give me credit. It's the same thing in the academic world. If Joe Blow came up with this idea and I don't give him credit, I'm not going to get sued, but it's unethical and people would lose respect for my work. So it's the same thing. Just give credit. If you didn't come up with it yourself, you took it from a book or something like that, say which book, which person it was, which book, give me the page number where I can find it and locate it. That's basically what's going on with plagiarism. All right. It's a form of stealing in a way. All right. So don't steal other people's ideas. Okay. I already mentioned about computers. Yes, I'm assuming you're using them for business purposes. All right. Hopefully, and using them for the class. Okay. Whoops, what happened there? You want to do that? Where are we here? Oh, okay. Actually, I'm where. Nope. That's where I wanted to be. Okay. See, the Holy Spirit works in mysterious ways. Got me to where I was going, even though I didn't know where I was going, Writing in crooked lines. Anyways, if class is canceled, we have a snowstorm. John said it was supposed to snow today, but I didn't see any snow on the way down here, no. Has anyone heard if there's snow on Thursday? Is that something? No? She heard on Thursday, but, whatever. She's an old lady. Who knows? She talks to the cat, Well, so do I. So what does that say? Anyways, so if we have snow and the university is obviously closed and I'm not going to be here, so the class is canceled and you're not going to be here, but I am recording things, so I will record, because we still have to meet according to federal and state guidelines. We still have to have certain number of credit hours. I will record the lecture and put it up on YouTube. There will be the readings that you're supposed to do for that day. So you're still doing work that you have to make up for that day, but we're just not physically meeting on that day. If there's a problem with me, like I also get sick, or there's some problem, like there's a pile up on Route 287 or something, and I'm just not going to make it, and class has to be canceled, then there's certain things that I will do. I'll contact certain people in the university. I'll try to contact you as soon as possible so that and I'll do the same thing. I'll just put up a lecture on YouTube. Whoops, wait, hold on a second. There I go. Oh, there. Forgot you, my little friend. There you go. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's weird. Snooze that for now. And that's fine. If I am 20 minutes late for class, you may go, okay? If I'm not here, then assume that the class is canceled, and that's just, life. As I said, if there's a pile up on the highway and I'm just not going to get here and there's no way I can contact any of you, what can I do? I can't tell you. So I don't want you sitting here for an hour and 15 minutes waiting for me when I know I'm not going to be there. So 20 minutes after the beginning of class. So from 11 to 11:20. Okay, people, let's be clear about that. If I have not been physically here, then leave. You can leave, and then I'll just have to make up the class with you. Okay. Yeah, oh good. I think I've pretty much covered everything. Anything else that should be covered is in the syllabus. And I would recommend that you read through the syllabus. Skim the parts that aren't relevant to you, but certain parts are very important, and just, you got to push through and read it, and you don't want to be surprised, okay? Yeah, okay, that's it. God bless you all. I will see you on Thursday. Yep, hold on.